say the number one and number two things that I get asked about are like, hey, how did you develop your skill of marketing? And then how did you develop your skill of sales? And truth be told, I never did a single sales training. I never read a single sales book before I started selling. And so I wish I had like a really sexy answer for you, but I don't. I just started selling. And I didn't even know that what I was doing was selling. I was just like, how do I get people to sign up for my gym and give me money? Like I didn't even know the term was sales at the time. I was just like, I have to get them to give me money. And so I think a lot of people spend way too much time in the like deliberation stage and like the trying to, you spend all your effort in the, I would say like productive procrastination space of just like thinking you're getting better, but you would get so much better just doing it, right? And so and people now respect what I have to say about sales because I've sold so much, not because of how many books I've read on sales, right? And so I think that once I was considered very good at sales, I was managing multiple sales teams and we were doing, a few $100,000 a month. That is the first time I bought a sales product. Like think about that. And I went through it and I was like, oh, this is good stuff. Like there's stuff in here that we can use, like neat. But like, I don't think it fundamentally changed how good I was at selling. And I think that's because so much of selling is about conviction. It's about how much you believe in the product, more so than like the judo chops, right? It's about how much you care about the prospect and how much you care about the product will help them. Because if you truly talk from a space of genuine care about a prospect, you won't convince them to do something that they shouldn't do. And if you genuinely believe that your product or service is going to help people, then making the sale is very easy because it's like, I really care about you and I really know that this product works. And so let me just like help you connect these two dots. And so that's like ultimately like that is what selling is and should be. The problem is most people don't believe in their product and they don't care about their prospects, right? And so because of that, they come into all this cognitive dissonance, meaning like they believe themselves to be good people, but at the same time they need to make money. And then those two things become at odds and that becomes really difficult to sell because now you're faced with a moral obligation to like your family, to try and provide, and then against yourself to be ethical, right? And that becomes really hard for people, and that's why a lot of sales guys get burnt out when they find out more about whatever they're selling. And so that's why a lot of times sales guys will start out hot and then crash just because they find out that what they were selling, what they were sold to sell, is actually not what it really is cracked up to be. And then once they find that out, then all of a sudden, that's why, in my belief, there's way more churn in salespeople than would otherwise be necessary if they were all selling something they believed in, right? So back to the main point, which is, what do I do if I have no way of, practicing? Well, I mean, honestly, when I want to do something, what I do is I buy a course about how to do something, and then I follow the course and do it. So if I wanted to make a webinar, then I bought a course on making a webinar, and then I followed the course to make the webinar. And so I learned the skill while I was going through the course. I don't think there's a lot of productive time and usage in learning stuff for the sake of learning. Like it's like, and I would even make the argument that you don't even truly learn it until you've applied it. And so like, how do you know if you read 6 books on sales and they have different strategies, which one is the right one? Because you've never tested it in the battlefield, right? It doesn't make any sense. And so like the same thing with marketing. I never bought a copywriting course. I never bought any courses on how to build landing pages. I never bought any courses on how to run ads. The only thing I did was I spent money one-on-one to get someone to train me literally how to click to run ads for my gym. But I learned a little bit. I learned enough on my own. And so that's the thing is like, I think there's definitely a space for one-on-one training. I think the biggest gains I've made have been from investing in people who are above me to break my beliefs about what was possible. Because the people who are above you most of the times are not going to they're not going to hold your hand and teach you how to write copy. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like they might edit, copy you have if you have like a one-on-one relationship, something like that. But for the most part, like it's going to be up to you to go acquire those skills. And most of the time, acquiring those skills comes from doing them, which means you're going to suck for a while. And I think just most people aren't willing to try because they think that if they are perfect, they'll somehow not fail the first time, which is stupid because even when you're really good, you're going to fail. So it's just people like procrastinating, and reading books about something that they haven't done is a productive way of feeling accomplished without actually doing anything. And so I say all this to say, for the many people who ask me, what are my favorite books on sales and marketing? My favorite book on sales is To Get Out There and Start Selling, right? Because if you start selling and then read a book on sales, it will make far more sense to you than trying to read a book on sales before you start selling, because you won't even know what they're talking about, all right? Same thing with marketing, right? Like if you want to go and learn about marketing, the best thing to do is learn how to run an ad. You run an ad, do a landing page, and then start getting some people who give you their contact information, and then pick up the phone and call them. Like, you know what I mean? And the easiest thing to do, in my opinion, is the advice that I got from Ezra Firestone years ago, which is give yourself a slush fund, right? Give yourself a learning budget, which is how much am I willing to, quote, blow this month on failure so I can learn the skills faster. And whatever that percentage is, it might be 10% of what you make every month, it might be 5%, it might be 25%. It just depends on who you are and how stable your income is. But if you just say, I'm willing to give $500 a month to learning the skill, then you don't have this like emotional attachment to whether or not you crush it your first time, because you're seeing this $500 a month investment is truly that, an investment in your education, your investment in trial and error, rather than, like, I bought this course on copywriting, I'm not a millionaire, what's wrong, right? When in reality, you just have to get out there and start doing it. So, anywho, that is my 2 cents. I made most of my money before I started reading a lot of books. I would say, like, seriously, I read maybe 30 books before we, were deca millionaires. You know what I mean? And so I wish I had something better for you, but I focus most of my time on doing and applying. And when I start applying, then I will go read for specific solutions to a bottleneck that I have, rather than trying to learn an amorphous topic by reading words from multiple books and trying to get perspectives, different angles on problems I've never even encountered yet, right? I think it's much better to encounter the problems, then start seeking the solutions, than trying to cover every solution to every problem before you've even started the race. So anyways, hope you found that valuable. Hope that made sense. Lots of love, keeping awesome, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye.